Well, hello everyone. As you know, I'm always looking for innovators, and this time we're traveling to the island of Maui. And on a recent trip to go over there to film at Jaws, I met with Jimmy Lewis, renowned board shaper, and we went into his shop to learn how it's done. Now, some of the best surfers in the world have been riding Jimmy Lewis boards, so here's Jimmy.
You're not an innovator?
I don't know, I mean, it's like everything I've gotten was like, I started making boards and looking at Dick Brewer boards. So what did I invent, I mean, I've been influenced by everybody else in the world, and I'm sure I've influenced people, but I don't think there's anything I've invented, like a concave or anything like that, Some of them, my speed boards, like that red one outside.
So the key is to learn from other people.
Well, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I learned how to shape on my own, but I was looking at other existing shapes.
And improving them.
I don't know if I was improving them, but I've had real good luck at what I'm doing. And
world records,
the thing is,
records up.
If somebody wants something, has an idea about something, I know I can do it as good or better than anybody else because I have a basic idea of what a good curve is that'll go through the water. And it's just a natural ability or gift that I know a good clean curve is good or better than somebody else. The curve I see seems to work real well in water, and somebody else, the curve they see, it's different, or maybe not different. I mean, I'm not the only good shaper in the world, but I've had real good success, and like I had said, I don't make prototypes. Every board I have just goes into production. I make the plug and put it in production. I don't test it or anything. It's because I've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of boards the same way. Okay, let's make this one. I don't need to test it. It's already been tested by all the years that I've been working making boards.
So Jimmy, real quick, the process is you shape the board right here, right?
Yeah.
Walk through it with me real quick.
Measure it and cut it to length, and then we got all these templates here.
Okay.
Here's an example. There's the nose part of the template. There's the tail part. And so we'll put some dots or lines on here and measure how wide we want the nose and tail, and then see how this isn't the right template for this size board, but it'll give you an example. That's the nose. And then you turn it around and then draw the tail on. And then we've got tons of templates here for all different, they're just big French curves.
Okay.
And so then with all the templates I've accumulated over the years, I can do anything. You just grab a different French curve.
Okay, so you draw it on there and then you shape it with what? Let's do
Well,
that.
and then I cut it out. I use the skill saw. It's not here. My son took it, didn't bring it back. Cut the outline out, and then you shape it with this.
Okay.
The reason the lights are on the side like that, and there's no top light right now anyway, is so you can see the shadows. You can see, because we're not dealing with straight lines, we're dealing with curved lines, and you want it all to flow. You can see the shadow on here, how, so when you're shaping, you can really see the shape of the board.
Okay, and then what's next?
And then the reason it's black is so you can look against the black, against the white, and you can really see it nice. Some guys back in the early 70s and stuff made the rooms green or blue because it's more mellow, and it's like, I don't want to be mellow when I'm shaping. And anyway.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, rock and roll.
So you take the board out here
And
then?
then you take it out here. And then here's the roll of fiberglass of different kinds.
Okay.
Out onto there.
Right. Do you put the resin down first?
Nope.
Okay.
Put the glass on dry and then take the scissors and trim the glass, so it overlaps a little bit, and then mix up the resin, pour it on and squeegee it and lap the rail. When that's hard, within a few hours, or if it's epoxy the next day, you turn it over and bear that in a little bit where the glass is, and then do the same thing on the deck.
Okay.
And then after that's hard, you put another coat of resin on both sides to fill up the weave, and then you sand it in that room over there. Well, actually, before you do that, you take it in here and use a router and make holes in the board to put
For the
sand
skeg?
boxes.
Yeah. Okay.
Sand that down, and then you take it in there and sand it.
In the downdraft sanding room, which is very, very cool.
Yeah, and then you sand it in here with, we have a hard disc grinder.
Okay.
to sand the hard, to level things out, and then soft pads to, sand everything super smooth. And then we put it back in here, and then we mix up a batch of gloss resin. Put a coat of resin on either side.
Colored at this point?
Well, if you want to do colors, you can either do it in the resin you laminate the board with fiberglass,
Okay.
or you can do pigment pen lines, or you can airbrush, like this is kind of airbrush. There's different ways to color boards. And we're talking about polyester, regular construction surfboards. Just polyester, polyurethane foam and polyester resin.
So you got the second coat of resin on, and then it goes into...
Well, and you sand it.
Right.
And then you put a third coat, which is finished resin. And then after that's done, you take it back in here and wet dry it and then polish it out. And then it's super...
So you weren't like really into surfing. You were into...
No, we surfed. Yeah, but I started making surfboards. And then in 7th grade, I couldn't wait to get in 7th grade because I wanted to make a belly board in the wood shop. And then I got into 7th grade and they said, no, 7th graders, that's too big of a project for a 7th grader. You got to wait till 9th grade. And all I could think about until I got into 9th grade was making that belly board. Surfing and making that belly board. Here's some pictures of that belly board here.
So it was all wood shop was the key to your success.
Well, no. I was making foam and fiberglass little miniature models.
I know, but
fifth
the
and
wood
sixth
shop,
grade.
you said, hey, I can do some bigger stuff.
Yeah, and so this is 9th grade after. That's the 4-foot belly board I made.
Look, the picture's almost gone, huh?
Yeah, it's a
Just
Polaroid.
you and the border.
And then that's all I did until like a senior in high school.
Just make surfboards and belly boards?
No, I didn't make any more. That was
Oh.
the only thing I did. And then
Okay.
in the late 60s, longboards got cut down to shortboards, right? And then I moved to Berkeley in 67 because my mom wanted to go to the university. And so I think I was in 11th grade.
And that's where you became a socialist.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a revolutionary. I got the Che Guevara
We've got
hat
Che.
and-
Are you with him? No.
No. That's just a board I make. And anyway, here's another picture of me with Huey Newton and Bobby Seale and Elder. There's Che.
Now, what you need to know is that when we pulled up to Jimmy's house, the first thing he told me was that he was a socialist. But in reality, he's really a big capitalist. He's importing things from all over the world. He's got a great big business. And, I give him a hard time about pretending to be a socialist when in reality, he's really a capitalist.
Do that. So we drove down to Santa Cruz to O'Neill Surf Shop, and I bought a blank and a gallon of resin and some glass, and went home and converted. My mom had a duplex downstairs and upstairs. This part of the building, we were in an apartment building in Berkeley, and there was 2 bedrooms up here. I converted one to the shaping room, and I was glassing out on the roof. This is one of the very first surfboards I made, and that's when I started really making surfboards. Actually, one of the very first.
Pictures of it too,
Yeah, that was it. Here, look at this one up
There's
here.
a lot of things in life
This
go by
friend of
without
mine.
pictures.
Luckily, this guy was a photographer. Here I am with a
First
hammer
shot.
and chisel, chiseling out to put a fin box in. I didn't even know what a router was.
The hammer and the chisel. Look how concentrated he is too.
So I remember this
man.
picture too because he set it on
Just-
timer.
Yeah.
I didn't even know anything about cameras and timers. And my friend Caleb was he was into photography, and so he set up that picture so he could be in it too.
I think you need to open this thing up as a museum and get guided tours. It could be a nice little capitalist adventure.
Capitalism. I'm not totally uncapitalist.
Oh, I know you are.
We wouldn't be bringing containers in if
But
we were.
this guy Caleb, turns out he's one of the richest guys in
Where's your little wood planes?
right here. Right here, this thing's bitching her
She'll
shit.
pull that.
Oh yeah, that's a plane. Do you like this plane?
Shit, it was so unreal.
Wait.
I mean-
but do you know where that plane came from?
From you guys.
That's right, man.
Yeah, when I first
So
got it,
Jimmy
it was
Lewis is
set-
a fast cap fan. Is that what you're saying?
Heck yes. This thing was set perfectly. It's like, because when you're shaping those boards and you're doing a colored lamination, when you put a tint color in the resin to laminate the fiberglass, if you scar the foam where the stringer is, the piece of wood, then that scar along the stringer line shows up terribly. And this thing was just set perfect. It would hit the wood and not touch the foam. And so, I mean, I don't know why, it was naturally just set perfect that time. I didn't have to do anything. Remember I emailed you about that?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that little plant is so bitchin'.
And what about this tape measure? What's that all about?
I don't know, did you guys send this too?
You mean you don't use it?
Yeah, this is the one I use a lot, yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
It's flat. It's not like a normal one.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's, you know what we
That's
call
right.
this, Jimmy? This is, here, let go, here, pull it out.
Yep.
Hold, now lock the blade. That's called the old man tape measure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why did you say that?
You got one that stands out?
This is a Jimmy Lewis signature.
So this is a rocker jig, so you can
I
copy
call
the
it a rocker jig, yeah. But
on
I
a board.
think,
So you just loosen this little eye bolt there, and that goes in and out, so you can copy the exact contour from board to board.
yeah.
So now Jimmy digs deep and finds his original first surfboard. Can you believe this?
Beautiful too.
Like the same, that picture in there of me glassing with that beret on. This is
So basically what you just got to do is go inside the shaping studio of a world-class surfboard maker, Jimmy Lewis. And you got to show us all his tricks, his techniques, and to be honest with you, quite a bit of humility too, because, you know, Jimmy said he really didn't invent anything, and yet he's renowned for being a great surfboard maker.
I worked out a deal with him. I made his son.
So all the things I learned on this trip was, number one is, maybe I should have made Maui my home. Number two is, wearing flip-flops and a bathing suit every day for my entire life. That might be a pretty good thing. And number three, being a waterman, someone who is deeply ingrained in the surf and the ocean, is also a pretty romantic pursuit in the course of one's life. And really an innovator too, because this is really a cool sanding room. I've never seen a sanding room where it sucks to the floor, which makes so much sense. I can't believe it. I'm literally going to redesign my sanding studio because of this. And then at the very end, Jimmy shows us his pet duck and he feeds it. He's a stray. He just showed up one day and now he's Jimmy's pet. So hopefully you enjoyed this week's American Innovator. We'll see you next week as we travel around the world to show you innovators from all walks of life.